I'm going to try to actually focus on a subject and then talk about that subject. Like my brother, he's on his way into town driving, so don't expect I'll see him. But, you know, and some of you might be like, best GM ever. That's arrogant. Yeah, it is. That's the point. The point is to be, controversial to a degree, you know, so that when people see the title, they're going to be like, what the hell is this guy doing over here saying he's the best GM of all time? And then they show up, and that's like, okay. Um, Putting together some miniatures because that's all I do in my whole life. It seems like every single day I wake up and I build miniatures. Um, they're cool miniatures though. They're Dark Sun miniatures, so they're all based on art from Braun and from the Dark Sun setting. And believe it or not, at least in my opinion, a lot of those funky miniatures from for Dark Sun fit really well into a kind of post far future, tomfoolery type setting as Hyperborea is, you know. So so I picked these guys up mostly for player characters, but whatever, you know. I mean, if I wanted bad guys, say I want Vikings for bad guys, I'll use my Conan um, Acer banner figures that I got with the Conan box set. Um, if I just need like town guards, well, I've got tons of um Hyperboreans, or not Hyperboreans, Aquilonians and Bossinians, also from the box sets. And then picks will be the easiest because I basically got an army of picks. I've got like 20 archers and then 20 with assorted, you know, hand weapons. So one of the miniatures I bought is Pachacooty or Pachacooty. I think it's Pachacooty. He is apparently a great Incan chief. And if I remember my lore on him, one of his favorite things was to, like, after he killed an enemy, he would kind of make a scarecrow out of them, but make them hollow and set them up so that when the wind would hit them, their hands would slap against their fingers like, or their tummies like a drum. And then another thing he was a big fan of was making musical instruments out of the bones of his enemies. But that doesn't matter because in certain parts of Hyperborea, that kind of outfit and everything will look right at home, you know? And that's what I'm going for, you know? I'm just setting up some more figures for the Hyperborea campaign, which is going really well. I think the most important part, really, for running any game, any role playing game, is you gotta, it's respect. Yeah, no, um, I love that from Community. That's pretty hilarious, man. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's see where to start. What do I do? One, prepare, but don't drive yourself crazy. I mean, yeah, preparation is always good, you know. Like they say, preparation Sage Perspiration. So unless you are truly the kind of guy that can just like wing it, of course you want to prepare a little bit. See, luckily for me, I am the guy who can wing it. And I have winged it quite a few times. And on quite a few of those times, I've been told by the players at the table that, damn, that was one of the best adventures I've ever been on. And did I tell them I was making shit up the whole time? No. I just said, yeah, and wrote some stuff down in my notebook. That is a tip every GM should know by now. And if you don't, well, now's your chance. Buy yourself a notebook. Like, I prefer the little cheap, just brown paper notebooks. And when you open them up, the pages are all hex, like 4 squares per inch. Because one, you can map in them with the hexes. 2, you can just write in them, right? And I had a video about this a while back. When you introduce an NPC, and it doesn't matter if it's the local cabbage farmer, the local gong farmer, it don't matter who or how important that NPC is. If you are unfortunate enough to be forced to give that NPC a name to the player characters, write it down. One, because I have to do this because I got some old. But I'll tell you what, nothing will have your players jump out of nowhere and start carrying on like forgetting the name of an NPC, especially if for some stupid reason you have a group of players and they like to get attached to NPCs, like super attached. Like every time they go to that town, they want to swing in and make sure the cabbage farmer's doing okay, like that sort of thing is what I'm talking about. So, yeah, that is one of the best pieces of advice I can give, really, is names. And if you're having an issue like coming up with names, my go-to really is depending on what culture the NPC is supposed to be, go into like a baby naming page on the computer, or I guess you could even buy a book if you wanted to, and just seeing what you see there. On the computer, luckily a lot of times you can random it, and then you can be all like, okay, this baby or this NPC's name is Christoph or whatever, right? And then, like I said, you write it down in your notepad, and you keep that handy so that if and when the players ever go back to talk to Christoph the freaking barber or some shit, you don't mess up his name. I'm not saying every player's this way. I alone am best. Probably. But I like to make claims. Then again, my claims are not unsubstantiated since I have people who claim I am the best. I mean, other than just me. I am the Kurgan of Highlanders. That's right. There can be only one. Or the Kurgan of. How you doing? What's up?
Hey, what's going on, James?
Well, enjoying the fact that it's warming up a little bit down here. How you doing up there?
Pretty good. Same thing. It was like 30 degrees, and we were treating it like it was early spring. It's like
yeah, right now I think we're rocking about 60 degrees, but all last week it was like freezing.
Yeah, I still expect our mounds of snow to last until sometime in March.
Right.
because it's not going to get warm enough for the core of those huge mounds. Like at my place of work, which has like a huge parking lot, the plows had piled these things up into mounds that are like 20 feet high. I was like, that's going to be there till April, easily through April, because once it gets dirty too, the core of those things stays, solid ice for forever. It never really declines. But here at home, hopefully the driveway clears up a little bit more because we have 4 cars and it's kind of hard to park my car so it stays out of the way of, my wife and kids' cars when they're looking to pull out of the driveway.
See, that's how I know you don't live in the city.
Oh,
You
it's
got
like
4 cars.
Yeah.
Like
Nope.
if you live in Queens and you own a car, the rent for parking on that car will be as much as the rent for your apartment.
No.
Who's like, nah. But I'm glad you guys are warming up too. I think we've got some more coming. I'm really disappointed because, and I know this is not on the topic of whatever, but I think the freeze killed my banana trees. And that makes me a little sad.
Yeah, it's actually 31 degrees now. It's going up to 39 tomorrow, 38 on Sunday,
Balmy.
40 on Monday,
Hey,
29 on Tuesday. So Tuesday, there's a chance that it might actually put a dent. Next week is going to be actually fairly mild. High 30s, mid 40s. Although 49 on Tuesday is going to feel awesome.
And you see right up here where it says Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
My players bought this for me for Christmas.
Now, do they use Dungeon Master for you when you're running just Dungeons and Dragons, or does it change based on the system that you're using?
It does not.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to, trying to match up with like whatever game system I'm talking about. Like, so if they use Referee, I use Referee. If they use Castle Keeper for like Castles and Crusades, I use Castles and Crusades. If I'm talking about something generic, I'm doing Game Master, right? And only when I'm specifically with Dungeons and Dragons will I use DM, although my channel I've been using DM for like 9 years. But back then I was almost exclusively just running, D&D BECME or AD&D and everything. So it kind of, it's kind of hard to rebrand everything that I've done on the channel so far. And then I watched I was watching a video from Professor Dungeon Master a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, and then I commented on his, on his thing. It wasn't so much about that; it was more about, setting guidelines for players at your table, and so that's why I think I would adopt the term Table Master, because that's basically what you're doing. Is you're basically laying down, this is what is going to occur at my table. And I am the table master. And it kind of clears up all those things, because I think if you use Game Master and then they pull out the rule book and say, well, the game says this, and you're saying something different, and then they might have, not that it would work, but they might have grounds, at least in their head, they might have a grounds of saying, well, you're not really a game master if you're, not following this particular rule in the game. So I like Table Master better.
I think that we use Dungeon Master in the same way that a lot of people call adhesive bandages.
Yes, Band-Aids.
Band-Aids.
Yeah.
The servants wait while the master baits. But anyway, yeah, it's like it has nothing to do with the fact that I think I'm somebody's master or that I own a dungeon or we're playing a dungeon. No, it's just like, I don't know. It's since we've been doing it since the mid 80s. So like,
Yeah.
and a lot of the people I game with, I've been gaming with for 20 years. So it's just like, oh yeah, he's the DM. We could be, well, no, we couldn't be because my players never will let me. But let's say we decide to play Traveler, right? They'd still call me Dungeon Master. It's just to us, it's just a generic term for the guy who's walking around the kitchen explaining shit. Because I do walk a little bit. Some of our games can go 4 or 5 hours, so I'll get up and walk around a little bit. Dungeon Master is racist.
Well, I remember when they first started pushing back on that with, Wizards of the Coast and on some of the other, it was probably Reddit and things like that, that Master was misogynist because it was, Master is for men. And so, that's, because no one calls himself a dungeon mistress, right? It's like,
but they could.
So they could, yeah. Any woman who wanted to call herself a dungeon mistress, so they okay, that's fine too. But anyway, dungeon master is racist, yeah.
I prefer Grand Dragon. Shut up, Daniel. Daniel's over here causing trouble. Yeah, that's never been an issue to me, but I'm not so unaware of like life that I don't understand how it could be an issue, especially for someone like you who runs games at cons a lot.
Yeah.
Which is a huge difference really between me and most of the people I talk to. I never run con games anymore.
Right.
That was something I was going to chime in and say. I ran a lot at conventions. I mean, I didn't want to interrupt, but at conventions, that's come up before about titles and everything, and Game Master was settled on, like Master of Ceremonies type thing.
Mm-hmm.
The MC.
Yeah.
Canceled. Yep. I've been canceled so many times I don't even care anymore. But yeah. It's like all the guys that actually run games online or at cons with like random players they just meet. It's like you might think a guy's cool until you hang out with him a little while and then you realize he's crazy.
Yeah.
And he's got like weird opinions and stuff. But me, since I play around my table and some of the players, like my wife's been gaming with me for 20 something years. So like, we're very careful about who we invite in. And we let people know, like before the newest people joined, which the newest people, they've been with us for like 5 or 6 years now. I made sure to let them know before they even walked into the house that I'm very religious. I'm Orthodox. I'm what you might even call alt-right Christian fundamentalist almost. And if you're cool with that, I won't ever talk about it. But I want you to know when you walk in and you see icons all over the place and stuff. I mean, if that's not your gig, let's talk about it now before you show up and get offended by, all of the, holy icons I have all over the place. And they were like, oh, no, that don't bother us. Even though I'm pretty sure because they're young, they're probably definitely more on the lib side. But guess what? I don't know because we've never talked about it in 6 years.
Yeah.
It's like they show up. We have dinner. If we're having some dinner, we sit at the table, we play the game. And we have a great time. And for all I know, they could be voting for freaking whoever and whatever. And I don't talk about it. They don't talk about it. But that's the weird thing. And I'm going to go on for just a second here about this. In my experience, the only people I've ever had problems with tend to be people who are like on the opposite end of like me, because I can game with anyone and I just don't talk about things that
Right.
piss somebody off. But when I used to run 4th edition Adventure League at the local comic shop, I'd go down there every Friday and run whichever little encounter they wanted ran. And it was always, they made sure to random who you got, so you didn't get the same player all the time.
Mhm.
And it was never the guy like me that people would consider like, whatever, that caused the problem. It was always, generally speaking, I hate to paint with such a broad brush, but generally speaking, it was always the unattractive white woman that had half her head shaved or something and would not shut up about politics.
Hey, man, those are con cows.
Right? And you're just like, man,
Sometimes,
I'm just trying to run this encounter, like 7 kobolds are attacking your group.
It really depends
I
on
really don't need to know about any
it
of
depends
this.
on the con you go to.
Well, this was at a local
I'm in
con.
Georgia, so most of the cons are in Atlanta, so that's pretty much what you get.
Welcome to Hot Atlanta.
Yep.
I
You
used
get
to love Atlanta when I was.
You get the twinks or you get the cows.
Yeah, so they have the big con in Atlanta, Dragon Con in September.
18 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You've been going to Dragon Con 18 years in a row?
Yep.
I can't think of anything I've ever done 18 years in a row.
Now, is that a decent con?
It used to be. It really used to be. It was just mostly like game focused and celebrity focused, really what it was. Like we had a bunch of great guests show up. But it changed. So
how has it changed? Because I know my niece is actually, she works for an anime company in Atlanta, and she was going, and she's she's who I just donated, a bunch of my tabletop role playing stuff to.
Nice.
She's the one that I gave my 5th edition stuff to because I got rid of all my 5th edition, and then I just gave her Shadow Dark. And I gave her the Flaming Princess, Lamentations of a Flaming Princess, just this past, couple weeks ago. So, but she said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to this." I go there because she goes there as a representative of her anime company, that she works for, and
I wonder if she's working on Archer.
No, they do.
It's an animated show. It's made in Georgia.
No, I know, but it's like her company that she works for. She's a production person. She's not a top, like not the head producer, but like next down from that. Nice. And they're called Bento Box, like the Japanese lunch boxes, but Bento Box anime, they do some stuff. I mean, they do some stuff that's that's out there that you might have seen.
I mean, she should prosper in the new environment then if she's doing like anime and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask you is like, but having gone 18 years in a row, have you seen a shift? A shift, not just from gaming, or have you seen a shift from specific games? Like, is D&D still 90% of the tables going on, or has it shifted to other gaming systems over the last couple of years?
As far as gaming, they've kind of shifted away from mostly the 3 big things. Let me phrase it this way. 3 big things that shifted post Ed Kramer conspiracy blowout, big bad trouble, if you're familiar with that.
Are you talking about the guy that draws himself as a bear attacking the boyfriend of that chick that was dressed up like Power Girl?
I never heard that story, but he was the founder of Dragon Con, and he was he liked cheese pizza. He liked touching.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
this asshole
and
used to be such a virtue signaler. He drew a comic and it showed like this guy ogling a Power Girl cosplayer with, big breasts,
yeah.
right? And he like shows himself with a fedora, but he's a bear grabbing a ball bat, and he's like, "Excuse me." And the thing was, in
No.
reality, the guy ogling the Power Girl chick was her boyfriend.
Yeah, no,
They've been dating for like years. And
this guy was something else. He the
it's always the
shareholders
ones that try to act the most virtuous.
the shareholders lied about him and like kicked dirt and said, "Oh, we're not affiliated with him anymore," but he was still making money off of Dragon Con and everything,
Right.
even though he was a convicted diddler.
Person. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's just Ed Kramer Dragon Con controversy. It was a years long thing of trying to get him out of the
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, to answer your question, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to digress.
No,
Oh.
you're from the South.
You got me. But the first big shift was away from gaming because they actually cut down the scheduling to where we were running 2 games in 2 slots, 2 sessions in 2 slots. And they switched up our schedule to where it was like, well, you can run this one on this day and this one on that day. And most of it, actually, at least for Atlanta, was GURPS more so than 5th edition
Oh,
D&D. Like
interesting.
GURPS players and Pathfinder players everywhere. Big
Wow,
Pathfinder campaigns.
well, that's not so surprising, but GURPS is a surprise. That's what I meant. Like, I wanted to see like what kind of experience would you have there, as opposed to, you go to Gen Con and it's still
Yeah.
probably 60% D&D, although declining. It's still 60% 5e going on there, and but I go to smaller cons, and those are almost exclusively like
Yeah.
exclusively OSR and independent.
Yeah.
You're hard pressed to find somebody running 5e at any of those tables. Now these are
Yeah.
smaller cons. These are cons with like 600 or less attendees.
Yeah. I'm actually starting to really enjoy those. Those are actually a lot of fun. I met Vernon Wells at a really small con that was not 15 miles from me. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I mean, I want to answer that question you asked Tim, but just from the point of view of someone who used to go to a lot of cons in Orlando, like Historicon and that.
Yeah.
D&D or any role-playing game whatsoever has been pushed like into the corner like the redheaded stepchild.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go into these places down here, the tables are either Magic the Gathering tournaments or Warhammer 40K, specifically Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
Not like good games like Oathmark or something, right? And then you'll have some tables for role playing, but they're like in the back, kind of, they're not showcased. It's not like, hey, check out, we have role playing. No. And the big thing forever down here has been kind of this running competition between Magic the Gathering and Warhammer. So the wargamers show up with their big giant boxes full of miniatures, and that's what they're there for, and that's what they're going to do for like 3 days straight, and they're not going to do anything else, and they won't talk to the RPGers. They not make fun of them. And then the Magic players, who absolutely are the worst people to be around in a tournament setting, because half of them are just straight up cheaters, and then a quarter of them don't know what deodorant is. And I mean, I know that's a stereotype, but it's a true stereotype, right? And they are just the worst.
It is absolutely a true stereotype. The first time, so I was dating my wife at the time, so this would have been 97, and I used to, I was living on Long Island, at the time, And whatever reason, I forget where we were going, but I was like, oh, let me just stop in the the hobby shop over here. And she had never, set foot in a hobby shop before, and we happened to go in, and she followed me in there, and there you have all your, and this was before like '97. I don't even think Magic the Gathering was a thing around, at that time.
In '97, it
I mean,
just
it might have been
released
everywhere else, but like in where I was going, it was not a thing. But my wife
because
walked
it
in.
just released and it hadn't quite just exploded
Yeah.
yet.
All right, yeah. So
In 97?
in '97, yeah.
97 was around Urza's Saga block. It was alive and well,
Yeah. But
Down
anyway,
at least in
here,
Georgia.
we had
yeah.
players, but it
So
wasn't like it got.
she came
Go
into
ahead,
the
Bill.
shop with me, and the shopkeep, like the guy that owned the place, he was like no hygiene whatsoever. No, and I never realized it until she pointed it out. When we walked back out of there, she was like, don't ever bring me into a place like that again. She was like, it is so gross and just so, she was
That's
like,
flavor.
yeah,
That's
no, she
that's
was
how you know it's a good shop.
but it wasn't just that. I mean, she was like, she didn't get the role playing. She didn't get the figures. She didn't get any of that whatsoever. She was like, no, this is just, don't tell anybody that you do this. Don't, it's like, she is such an anti-gamer, I'm lucky that she lets me do what I do, but no, she would never participate in it. But yeah, that stereotype definitely hit her right in the face and like reaffirmed it if she had one that
It can be jarring. It
yeah,
can be absolutely jarring.
Well,
yeah,
I
she's
mean,
not into nerd culture and poor hygiene. So it's like
people for some reason, some people don't want to accept the fact that gaming, be it D&D or 40K or Magic the Gathering, is essentially, predominantly a male space, a male
mhm.
hobby. And I mean, of course, you've got your outliers. There's chicks out there that are like, oh man, I want to play an elf. But so it always amazes me when you see these companies and stuff talking about we need to do stuff to attract more women. And it's like, yeah, it came out in '95. I remember buying my first box of Unlimited in I think '96. And then after that, you had like the Urza. No, first I think you had Arabian Nights,
Yeah,
and then
Arabian Nights,
Urza, then the
Antiquities,
Dark.
Legends.
Yeah,
Uh, Basically, Ice Age is when it got
Ice Age
sanctioned.
is when it got stupid. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Um, I heard stories of people at tournaments, they were given free alpha decks. And at the end of playing the game, they just left the cards on the table. And I'm sitting here thinking any card from that alpha deck is worth at least $20 right now. But
Yeah,
who knew? Who knew Magic? I mean, I sold 10 years ago, maybe less. I sold a Gaia's Cradle, which is a land that I got
Yep,
out
I've
of a
still
pack,
I've still got foil ones.
and I didn't think much of it. Sold it. The guy offered me $150. I looked it up. That was a fair price, right? And so I took the $150. And then like 6 months later, it was over $1,000.
It's about 900 plus right now. The foil going for about 1,500. I'm about to
Yeah,
sell them.
because
So
you had all these people wanting to play mono green elf decks, and what could be better than a land that you tap and
this
generate a green
Commander
mana
is what
for
changed
every
everything.
creature you got? It's like,
Commander made everything insane.
and that's what I started playing. I don't play normal Magic anymore. What's up,
Yeah,
Deepak?
competitive took a huge hit. Competitive used to format competitive used to drive all the prices, but now Commander drives everything exclusively.
Bo, you're
It's
not wrong, man.
it's ridiculous. Like it's so stupid. Like junk rares that were 50 cents, $1 are going for like over 100 now, and it's. I was like, what is this nonsense? Don't really see much of that at Dragon Con either.
But yeah, Keep yourself relatively fit.
Are we just losing James here?
Are you still hating on my memes?
I'm not.
No, you hate
James
him.
might be
You said you
breaking up a
hated
little
him.
bit, yeah.
I do not hate him.
No,
Yeah,
you
James-
said you did. You totally
never
said you
did.
did. Yes, you did. I was there.
I think your best woods so far were the Japanese ones with James.
No, you said you hated
Those
him,
are
and it
great.
hurt my feelings, and that's okay. I just, you know what? Like, I'll just stop making them. It's fine. I don't have to. It's cool.
There he is.
You would think that, Tim, because you're a freaking weeaboo.
They were funny. I mean,
Freaking
come
weeb.
on. You and your dog
Freaking
were fighting
weeb.
magical girls. It's hilarious.
You're a weeb.
Yeah, but he hates
Yeah.
them. Tim hates them. James, he doesn't want me to make memes anymore. James, do you want me to stop making memes? Because I'll do it. I'll
I'll
stop.
tell you what, those last vampire memes you've been making are straight fire.
That was
All right.
hilarious.
See that, Tim? He says they're fire.
Yeah.
I say you got the best memes around.
No, that's not what you said.
It is exactly what I said. I
No,
just
that's
said
what you say now. But when it was just you, me, and Bear, you were talking all kinds of bad about him, and you said,
no.
"I hate you." No,
I
you
did
said,
not
"I
say
hate
that.
you. I hope you die."
That's
And
that was on a stream. There's video evidence of me not saying that.
Yeah, no one from Kentucky would say that.
that's what he said, and it hurt my feelings.
We just say bless your heart.
Oh
You're doing your
God!
best.
You get that, you're
doing your
done.
best. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Oh. Even
But I love
along
to
those
walk
same
outside
lines is when an
to the
older woman
graveyard.
calls you a goober.
I
Yo,
run to a graveyard
gosh.
with my Pomeranian, and I'm being chased by Shadow, who is a vampire. And then
Or-
Shadow's pulling like the Salem's Lot thing at the window, he's like, "Let me in." I thought we were bros and shit.
No, I'm changing my mind. The best one was actually the Pomeranian driving the car, being chased by
that one was
cops.
pretty good.
That
and
one was
then,
hilarious.
Shadow attacks me on the toilet, or tries to, but I won't let him in because you got to invite him in. So then I catch him on the toilet, and I'm going to stake the shit out of him. And he's like, "Come on, bro." You know. And then what's the next one? He's trying to get in the window again, and then I just show him a mirror.
Yeah,
That's not fair, you fag, because he has no reflection. So I'm just like, get out of here. So anyway, there's a whole story going on currently on my Discord between Shadow and I.
the narrative's about to shift. It's
Yeah, it's about to go dark, right?
No, those were brought to you by an abscess tooth that I had to go to the dentist for yesterday. So I'm
There were
actually
some dark ones.
yeah. That was a lot of those were brought to you by pain. So
Yeah, well, pain makes the best art. But,
you should see the ones I deleted.
Daniel's pinned the name of this
yeah,
of those memes, the Shitter Chronicles.
yeah.
The Shitter Chronicles.
Yeah.
Coffee creamer and stuff that we absolutely need to have. Is there anything you want me to pick up for you?
Uh-oh. James is getting a thorough dressing down.
My wife was asking if there's anything I want when she goes shopping, and I was saying no.
Okay.
Should I just do that myself, or do you still want to help me when I get back?
I'll help you, but we got time. Calm down, lady. You're working.
And crap, done. I'm not waiting till 6.
She is not waiting till 6.
You see how like she's so like I don't even know the word.
She's not waiting till 6, James. I mean, write it down so you don't forget.
It's just I have a plan. There's plans.
You always have plans.
There's plans.
Exactly.
There are plans in place.
Whereas I like to free ball it and just see what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
the reason
Lord.
my life works is because I
That is true.
have.
That is true. Without you, I'd probably be homeless. But even though I have money, I would still be homeless somehow. But she makes all the plans, and I am the chaos that has inhabited her life. But yeah, my sister-in-law and her man's coming down, and she's worried about getting the bed made. But they're not going to be down here until the night. So it's like,
Whoa.
calm down, but whatever. Yeah, the Shitter Chronicles, Dan. Yeah. Me and Shadow sneaking up on each other in the bathroom.
Man, I really tried to work the clip art through the filters. Was trying to make you less feminine with the towel, like you had a squealy pose, like an eek pose, and I was like, this ain't gonna work. I was like, I got to try to get something else.
Well,
It
I
just
imagine
didn't
if I
work
was
out.
wrapped in a towel and a vampire jumped me in a bathroom, I probably would be kind of squeaking. I'd be like,
It was a little too
all right.
prissy for you. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to model you correctly because of the amount of clip art and filter tools I have to use.
Yeah.
I don't want you to look too feminine. I
Well,
want you to be a character, but
you ain't got to do anything. You know, just you hanging out on the server and being a bro is enough for me. If you want to make memes, make them. If you don't. You know.
well, I just don't want to piss
There's no
anybody off.
expectations. But getting back to whatever, yeah. In tournaments down here, the big ones, it's all about 40K and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And then you might find a couple of nerds like me in a corner somewhere playing games, you know, but
Yeah.
any women I've ever seen at tourneys have all been playing like Carcassonne and like board games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That seems to be really popular with some of the older ladies. They show up and they play Azul or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been actually very surprised with the conventions that I've been going to. And like I said, I've been to Page 2, which was the largest of the conventions that I went to. And I understand it was twice the size this year that it was last. So it went up to like well over 2,000 people, maybe 3,000,
Nice.
up from like 1,800. So that thing is exploding. But even there at Page, I mean, I had a very good experience at the 2 years that I went to Page. I have a great experience at the other conventions that I go to. 600, 300, 150, people, and even with women players, at my table, whatnot. I mean, never encountered anybody that was, a real issue. They're just. I think that the conventions, especially the smaller ones. Now, yeah, when you go to like a Gen Con and you have, 10, 15,000 people there, yeah, then you're going to run into the crazies and everything. I used to go to Comic-Con at the Javits Center in New York City, and that's far more cosplay and obviously comic books, yes, but that's for more cosplay than gaming, and again, comics is the big draw, but a lot of cosplay going on there, but still not any kind of like real weirdness, even at those kind of conventions. So
yours aren't catering to Scientologists and furries yet?
We have a Comic-Con in Orlando, downtown.
Yeah.
And I went there once and it was freaking slam packed. Yeah. And there were a lot of extremely attractive young ladies walking around dressed up like EverQuest characters or some shit. And while there were gaming tables, it was mostly like different writers that wrote comics or I think when I went, the lady who played Diana Troy or whatever from like Next Gen was there.
Marina Sirtis.
Yeah.
And so there was like this whole
man, that woman is Greek. She reeked of coffee and cigarettes, and it was a delight.
Well, I'm just saying that's what it is. That particular con is not for gamers.
Yeah.
It's for, but then we have Huracan, which is also down here in Orlando. And that whole con is nothing but predominantly historical war game.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be nice.
So that one, you don't even see 40K that much. You will, but you'll see a bunch of people playing Bolt Action and Black Sea and like all of these War Games, not War Games Atlantic, the other one, Warlord Games stuff.
Yeah.
And the last time I went to that one, the one that was fired was freaking Flames of War. It was like everyone was playing Flames of War. It was crazy, but that's not a big one. And just to throw this out here real quick, my favorite tournament that I've ever been to in my life had like 100 people. Like there was a couple of history teachers at a local school, and during the summer, the school would let them have use of the auditorium cafeteria room, and you would pay like $10 for 2 days, and it come with, you got lunch for both days, which was a couple slices of, cheap pizza and drinks, and there might have only been 100 people there, but every table was packed. I mean, BattleTech, Space Marine Epic, freaking. I ran a D&D game where it was a competition D&D game where like the players got points for however many rooms they made it through before they died. And then because I was cool with the 2 history teachers that ran it, which they passed unfortunately, because I was in my 20s, so they were very much older. I was one of the judges that judged painted miniatures, and so maybe that's why I loved it so much, because I was actually kind of a part of the show,
Right.
volunteering and doing stuff for these 2 guys. And they were great guys, and they ran the local BattleTech group, and so, and I love that tourney, but I mean, there's no going home, as they say, which is unfortunate, because there'll never be tourneys like that ever again. But oh yeah, my wife, she had better not bitch at me. This was on her list of shit she wanted. I got to pull the price tag off because it's $95 fucking for a box of chocolate.
Those are some, better be wrapped in gold leaf, fucking comes with a gift certificate type shit.
Gold leaf is very cheap. Gold leaf is very cheap. You get about 40 sheets for like $8. It's like
they at least need to put some effort into a $95 box of chocolates. Like that shit better taste like pussy or something good.
Freaking War Master Titan for my epic shit up there only costs like $10 more than this box of chocolate that she's gonna eat over the next month, because she, that's how she is. But fuck, she's my wife. She's a good wife. So that's what she wanted. That's what she got.
That's right.
Yeah, Little World Wars, I've heard, is kind of like that. I've heard of that one, and I've heard nothing but great things about Gary Con and Hole in the Wall, and these little cons that maybe a couple people go to. Claricon, apparently everyone I know who went there says it's just an absolute blast, but unfortunately, you got to go to Canada for that. And I'm as far away from Canada as you can be and still be in the United States.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you ever want to go to Canada anyway? Even for a con, it ain't worth it.
You say that, but maybe that's because you haven't ever hung out and bullshitted around with the dungeon minister and stuff. He's just a cool cat, Kind of guy you want to hang out with. Dean likes the Pomeranians. Yeah, they're my favorite character too, Dean. Honestly, they're definitely my favorite character in all the memes.
It's easy to render them because I have 5 of my own. Well, by my own meaning, they're always over here because I'm the designated babysitter.
Come here. I know Mom left and you're all heartbroken now. You're like,
and that's how they get.
Come here. Come around.
Got to bribe him with cheese.
Oh, he'll eat anything, which we don't let him because they'll get his stomach upset, and then I got drink.
And then when they get old, they get that collapsing trachea, and it's ugh.
I don't know if I could anymore. I've been there a couple times back in the freaking 90s, but if they did a background search on me, they might deny me entry now. And probably the EU too. And I was in Germany in like 91, 92. But if they did a background check on me, they'd be like, nah, you can't come in here.
They're gonna find all my memes.
I don't know if it's near Toronto, Paul. I think it's in that triangle though, that Toronto, Alberta, whatever, that, it's kind of there. It's not super far from Wisconsin, I believe. So, yeah. Yeah. But it is what it is. It is what it is, but I don't know what else we need the con thing, yeah. And the master thing, yeah. I think that's what we were answering, is the whole dungeon master thing, and the fact that if you go to a lot of cons and you play with a lot of people,
Yeah, and the
you never
decline
know.
and the decline of Dragon Con, and
offended by it, which I think is silly, but hey,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, I know when I ran the Friday Night Gamers League, I was on my best behavior every time. Like, I didn't roll in there with the giant Orthodox cross talking shit, telling people how I kept my personal business to myself, and I ran the game because I'm friends with the guy who owns the shop. And as a result, he let me keep all of the adventures, even though the other DMs had to turn them back in.
That was something really interesting. I'd never seen at any other convention. Was at Dragon Con, you'd have the bullhorn, whatever flavor of weird evangelical cult was out there in the street with bullhorns, but just hanging around the conventions, you would have a Roman Catholic priest, an Orthodox priest, and a rabbi. And they were very often hanging out together, and people would do the classic line of like, is this the beginning of a joke? Or
it
you
does
two,
sound like the beginning of a joke, but
they'd be like, are you all in cosplay? And they're like, no, we're just spiritual, guides. Anybody who needs it, we're here.
I could see people acting up maybe in like the deep rural heartland of Kentucky and being like, what the hell are you doing? Right. I can see it because I've been there. And when I explained what it was, everybody was like, oh, okay. Because they heard stuff. But then when I'm like, nah, it's a game, anybody can play. I mean, and they're like, oh, okay. Florida, in my time down here, I have never seen anything like that.
It was strange.
Because I live in Orlando, and there's so many people that have migrated down here from literally everywhere in the Rust Belt, so from Detroit all the way to New York and New Jersey, right? It's just like the culture is so different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people don't care about shit like that. Maybe if you lived like in the Panhandle and like some tiny little town where they eat alligators all the time, not that I'm opposed to that lifestyle, but in Orlando, yeah, I mean, it's why the Magic had the hardest time getting a foot in, because everyone in Orlando was from somewhere else and like some other team. So it was like people would go to an Orlando thing to see the Knickerbockers, not because they wanted to see Orlando, but because they were from New York and wanted to see the Knickerbockers. It was really weird. It's changed now. Now Florida's starting to get its own kind of cultural thing going, but yeah, never heard of any of that. And when people talk about it, I'm always like, that is so weird.
The mallet knife Magic the Gathering deal that went all over online. I actually knew that guy and slept next to him at a Dragon Con. The guy from Minnesota who made the rounds throughout the internet, Eli Creech was his name, who attacked a guy, hit him in the head with a mallet, and stabbed him in the neck 7 times over a Magic the Gathering game. I still have his number.
And that, my friends, is why I said Magic players are the worst players.
And I have since then wanted to just be nosy and be like, what was the board state like and what rule prompted you to act? See, I can't help but be curious.
Nerd. You're like that guy that when you see on TV, guy goes nuts and beats wife. You're like, I wonder what she said.
I can't help it.
You know, and it's like, okay.
Like, I played Magic with the guys so many times. It's like, what pushed you over the brink? Like, what ruling, what situation drove you to do that?
Okay, here's a GM thing I can talk about. It is my observation over the last 40 years that for some reason, people who are not necessarily as connected to reality as we would hope they are tend to congregate to gaming circles. So there does seem to be an above average collection of people who might be diagnosed with something at the gaming cons. And that's why I think you run into people with like the hygiene issues, is because a huge marker for people who may be suffering from various issues is the lack of wanting to take care of themselves. So they just don't ever bathe or shower or do anything because they're suffering from issues.
I agree, but I think it might depend on the game too, because I never met a sleazy or dirty, unwashed 40K player. They were always like, I grew up in a military town, and that's all who played 40K was military guys. And they were constantly, too much cologne, clean clothes, borderline like preppy. I mean, it's a lot of them were from up north. So when they come down to Georgia, they're always in shorts and flip flops type thing. So,
well, I mean, the thing about that might be, and this is just, me bullshitting out here and throwing it out there. If you're playing 40K, you got money.
Yeah.
People might not like to think about it, but when it costs $1,000 to put together just a semi-decent army to compete with, yeah, I mean, but if you're playing Magic, I mean, depending on how you go about it, you can put a deck together for not very much, really. And
the deck that won Worlds in 2001 cost they called it I forget, it was something like Mom's Special or something, but the joke was she drops you off at the comic store with a $20 bill, and it's like, babysit yourself. You take half of it and build the deck that wins Worlds that year. So
I used to really not appreciate those mothers very much. Paul, Scum of the Earth, yeah. Yeah, I remember that dude who went to the Grand Prix and just took pictures of all the ass cracks hanging out, and there were like hundreds. And it's just like, come on, dude. But yeah, the big tourneys down here, though, I know a lot of people may not like it, but we do tend to get like some freaking, I don't know what she looks like out of her costume, but in her costume, she's definitely a solid 9, maybe in her mid-late 20s, walking around, and I'm cool with that. I mean, I don't talk to them or anything, but I don't mind seeing someone dressed up like a hot elf walking around the place. But some people get pissed about it. They're all like, I hate the cosplayers. And it's like, yeah, they're thirst trap chicks, and they know that this is just a collection of nerds that would literally lay down and let them walk on their face. But I mean, I'm different than that, because I've got a wife and everything. So I look at them, I think, damn, she's pretty nice looking, and then I go on. So, I'm not the kind of guy that's trying to talk to anybody.
I just looked up Claricon on my, just looking to see where it is, because they said it's close to Toronto. Claricon is actually not incredibly far for me to get to. It's only 6 hours and 47 minutes away. Yeah. it's actually closer than some of the other conventions I was thinking about going to, like up in Michigan, and going to WizardCon up in Michigan, and that's still like a 13-hour drive. I mean, 6 hours and 47 minutes is that's doable for me.
I know that
Friday, stay Friday night, and then attend the con, Saturday, and then leave Sunday morning and be home by Sunday afternoon.
Right.
That's absolutely doable.
And if you want to see what it's going to be like, I mean, just look up, like last year, you had Bear 28. Basically, all the Canadians that show up on Emerald chats were there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's why I would probably go, is just to run into, like, I'm sure Greg Gillespie goes there. I'm sure that
I think they had Greg.
Yeah.
I think they had a couple of names in the industry last year, but I'm not 100% sure. And then they did like a blind bid thing, and like it was a whole thing, man. And everybody said they had a blast. So, Red Hulk. Yeah. Yeah, Red Hulk, like 40K. I started in the early 90s, played hardcore, got pissed off, sold all my shit. And then about 10 years later, saw some new shiny cards and decided to buy them all up. And then I played, and then I went through that cycle. But I finally broke the cycle. I did think the same thing with 40K, where I'd build like a great army and get painted and sell it. And then decide 2 years later, I really want to play 40K again. And I broke that chain too, finally. But that followed me from my late 20s till very recently.
Man.
I was constantly selling and rebuying. I think for me, the thing I loved the most about the hobby was just building and painting stuff. I might like that better than playing. But hey, people are weird. So yeah. Dungeon Minister is absolutely a great guy to hang out with, and if he didn't live in the frickin' frozen north, I would definitely go. But yeah, I'm not going to. Now Vic wants me to go to somewhere even worse than Canada.
Arizona?
No, Vic's trying to get me to go to Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a bad one. That's where
Yeah, no thanks on that one.
That's a bad place.
And he's actually like,
because he wants you to go to Twin Cities, right?
Yeah,
that's Dave Con.
Dave Con.
Yeah.
And he said I'll be fine because he'll have Gary Gygax's daughter make sure I don't get in trouble, because her and her husband will be there. And I don't know if you ever saw the little movie documentary thing about Blackmore.
Yeah.
The bees in that thing are there. Bring your tampons. Yeah, right.
That documentary was strange.
Yeah, you can get your tampons in the boys' room.
Yeah, they'll be in the bathroom.
Yeah, so they'll be in the boys' bathroom specifically.
I'll be fine. But I don't think it's in Minnesota, like where I would actually have to worry about anything. And he told me that if I fly up there, he'll pick me up, drive me to the thing and everything. So my wife says she's okay with it, but I'm like, one, I hate traveling to states that don't reciprocate Florida concealed weapons carry, and they don't. And two, I also hate leaving my house. So I have a couple of problems there.
Well, sooner or later, I mean, the Supreme Court's going to change all that shit.
Yeah. Sooner or later.
Eventually, they just struck down something else. They basically said that New York and California, they can't do their concealed carry permits. They were like, if someone submits for a concealed carry permit, they must approve it. It's like, there's no.
Yeah, because that's how they were keeping people from
There's a
having
note there. They
weapons.
automatically have to approve it. I have to test that theory out
But
because I have mine in New York State. I just don't have it in New York City.
you know what's wild is, and I'm only going to say this and then move on because I don't want to get caught up in this, but this thing called the Supremacy Clause that apparently half of the United States doesn't think exists. And I'm just like, yeah, it
It's in
turns
the
out what
Constitution.
you are doing is actually illegal,
Mhm.
and a city nor a state can just make up their own laws
Mhm.
against, the actual Constitution.
The Supremacy Clause, right?
But these, I'm dropping it there because I don't want to get into it that much.
Right.
But yeah, ClearCon, from what I've heard from people who went, was an absolute blast. But
I can't get details as to when the next one is. In 2026.
you might just be able to one of these times contact Dungeon Minister and ask you.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I don't think I've ever actually spoken to him.
That's strange because I feel like he would be in your circle.
All right.
for sure. Like he pops into my chats a lot, and then Bear calls me a bitch because I'm always on my best behavior when he's in the chat. And then I've tried to explain to Bear that it's in my nature to respect clergy.
I'll reach out to him.
So, I'm going to tone a lot of shit down when there's a priest in the chat. You know what I'm saying? He's
There
like,
hadn't been
just
cranking
a
out
guy.
any content lately.
Yeah, and then he's like, Aaron's just a guy. And I'm like, no, he's not just a guy. He's a priest. You know what I mean? And we went back and forth on that one for a while.
Yeah, he's missing all the memes. He's missing, like, he got on to me for leaving Shadow alone for so long, and now that I'm back picking on Shadow, he's not here.
No, he's just taking a break, working on his own stuff, and
I even tried my best pretty please on him, and well, you can imagine how that went.
I can't imagine anything. I have no imagination. Yeah, I don't have anything really to add to anything. It's like he wanted to do his own thing, and he invited you to stay at his place if you went to the con. Yeah, that's how he is. He's just a nice guy. Apparently, a few people stayed. He put a few people up. So, I mean, but I don't know when it is. And the other guy who really wanted me to come to his con for at least a while back was Venger. Venger's like, you need to come up here, man.
But that's a schlep too. Yeah, that's a 15-hour drive for me.
Yeah, and for me,
I mean, you'd have to fly in, but
I'm not. There's no way I'd have to fly. And he's up in freaking Wisconsin somewhere.
Yeah. He's near Madison.
So it's like, going to any con that he's running is, for me, driving completely across the country.
Yeah.
Or like the opposite side of the country.
Yeah, no, he's up in Madison. So,
but
that's a schlep. That's a schlep for me.
Other than some local game stores down here, because we have a lot of them running stuff, the tournament scene down here kind of sucks, if I'm honest. It's become about, like I was complaining about, our tournament scene is either comic books, X-Men movies and people who dress like X-Men, which some of that's nice, and those freaking Funko Pops and shit like that, like weird like collectibles and stuff. And it's like,
to be fair, not very existent where I live.
well, I mean, yeah, there's not even a game store within an hour of where my mom's at right now. So I think I'd have to drive to Lexington.
I was going to say, I'd either probably have to go to E-Town or Louisville, I think, actually.
Louisville, fuck that place.
Yeah, I know. I was like, no thanks.
Yeah, and for me to go to Lexington's like over an hour. I'd have to drive across 27 to
For an hour.
75 and then 75 north.
Last time I
So,
went to a tournament, it was like a Pokemon tournament. I wish I didn't
Yeah.
go. It took
yeah,
me
that's the other
4
thing
hours.
too. When I talk Magic the Gathering, there is so much Yu-Gi-Oh shit.
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah,
fucking
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
And it's all like 13-year-old kids who's like you mentioned before, and I wanted to touch on, whose mom gave them $20 for lunch and just dumped them off.
Yep.
And now here they are running around like little freaking gremlins.
Dude, there's shootings at that. See, we have 4 game stores between Macon and here,
Yeah,
and
but Georgia,
one of them is devoted Yu-Gi-Oh, and there was regular goings on at that. There was a shooting at that outside arguing over cards. There was a shooting.
that's when you know somebody is just taking the game too serious.
Well, yeah.
Like, I like D&D, but I
people.
probably wouldn't murder anybody over it. It's like,
I mean, it's Macon, Georgia. It was like number 6 on the most dangerous cities in the U.S. for a while. So
oh yeah,
it's where I was born. So no surprise.
yeah.
Yeah, when I'm going through Georgia, it just feels like I'm being chased by the whole state.
I'll tell you what,
It's
they love to give you a speeding ticket in Georgia.
yes, they do.
I mean, if you even
And don't
blink
walk.
wrong,
Don't you dare walk. That's trouble too. Don't you
Yeah.
dare walk.
you and blink wrong at a Georgia State trooper, boy, you are getting a ticket. Count on it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just all that. And the only GM advice I'd start saying is if you are somehow put in a position where you have to name an NPC, write that name down. Because if you misname that NPC at some point later in a campaign, if your players are like my players, they will call you out. They'll be like,
And
wait a minute, that
was a
cabbage farmer wasn't named Clarence. His
There's a
name was
really good
Lawrence.
Dragon article about that, about NPC banks that every DM should have, like dwarf name, elf name,
Yeah.
have several human names, and then just when you pick one out as a quick fix NPC, you just write who they are, what they're doing, how they met, right beside it as a quick note.
And you kind of got to do that because, well, one, if the players notice that the NPC they wanted to talk to, that they've been talking to off and on for however long, all of a sudden it's got a different name, that drags them right out of the game.
Yep.
All
Especially
of a sudden,
in Call of
they're no
Cthulhu.
longer invested in what's going on with the characters. They're like, wait a minute,
Wait a minute.
That to me, that is the biggest piece of advice I would give any new DM. Take notes and make sure you know who the NPCs
It's
are.
especially worse in Call of Cthulhu because, like, you go from Fenfegger the dwarf or, blah, 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 Elias Silversong the elf to John Wilkinson, Mike O'Neill to, you have, these familiar names are a little harder
Elias
to commit to
Fogwall.
memory.
I thought you were going to go with a different thing and say, oh no, now the players are getting conspiratorial because I accidentally misnamed the character.
That could probably happen, believe it or not, but he is right. In Call of Cthulhu, you got a guy whose name might be, there's a guy that works in a gas station on the side of the road in rural Kentucky. His name is James McKee.
I mean, let's be real. In Lovecraft Country, they're either Irish, Italian, or Greek, or there's the Arab. There's the plot hook.
Well, I don't know where Lovecraft Country is set, so.
New England, Massachusetts, between Massachusetts, Rhode Island.
Yeah, it should be Rhode Island actually, but
yeah.
Yeah, if he said it near Arkham, I think that was in Massachusetts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's completely made up. And yes, there would be a shit ton of Irishmen around that region, for sure.
and then everybody in the Vanguard Club or Miskatonic University staff would be like a super English name, like William Watwood or something.
You know, like my name is Richard Pilkington the Fourth of the Sussex Pilkingtons.
Yeah.
You know, because all of the professors are like blue blood British.
I just did my short video on this.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's like, so you got all of the blue blood British.
Is that Arkham by Night?
And then
No, this is the unveiling the
Arkham
Legend
Unveiled?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
It's an adaptation of Arkham Unveiled.
Yeah, excellent book. Excellent
This
book.
is the dual system, so this is the one that was written for both. I guess it would have been Call of Cthulhu third, and then a D20 system.
I loved D20 Call of Cthulhu. I played it for 7 years. I loved it.
Yeah, so I only got this because I couldn't find the second edition Arkham Unveiled, which is the one that we played. But this one has the newspaper in it. It has the map, which is absolutely awesome. And it doesn't matter, like with these setting books, it doesn't matter what the game mechanics are. You know, you're using it for the lore and the resources and the NPCs and the place, the places and everything. So that's why I grabbed it. I think the original might actually be in the big box set. The second edition box set that they came out with like last year or 2024. So
I know that I'm pretty sure they released
classic.
I'm pretty sure, Richard, they released that book for 7th edition too now.
Oh, yeah, they probably did. So this is the one
that lovely.
This is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
So this was something, and again, it wasn't all that crazy expensive, but this is the edition that I played, when I was a teen. And,
that's old. That's
this is the second edition.
Yeah.
This is the reboxing of second edition. This just came out. When the heck did they release this? This was like 2020, 2024, 2025. Let's see. But this has all of the second edition stuff back in it again.
You make me wish I could play Call of Cthulhu again.
Or you could play Eldritch Tales, which is, pretty nice. And...
Look, I'm used to the mechanics.
So
of Call of
second
Cthulhu.
second edition ran from 1981. That's when it was first. 81 through 83. The revised reprint was 83, and then reprinted again in 2021. So this came out in 2021.
Look, Cold Iron, I used to play RuneQuest a lot, so I'm used to the mechanics and rules set of Call of Cthulhu.
I mean, it was like we went from 6th edition to D20, and D20 kind of took us over, combining it with D20 Modern. But then we found Eldritch Tales, and that kind of just dominated everything. For the moment, until we, come up with another one or just go back to Call of Cthulhu. But
see, I had a weird thought of something to do in a Call of Cthulhu game. And it's because I own the Arkham horror games. And I actually thought about if I were going to run Call of Cthulhu in that region, sitting the really the tiles out, like link them all together the way they tell you to, so that the players, if they were exploring the city, could actually move to where, like, if they want to go to the river, they could just say, I'm going to the river and move there, but still play, Call of Cthulhu 7th edition.
Oh, speaking of Call of Cthulhu,
and then using all of the Mansions of Madness tiles and monsters.
Everybody's familiar with Tomb of Horrors. Have any of y'all played Mansion of Horrors, the tournament module?
No.
Okay.
No, not you mean like the original one?
Like the it's not Mansions of Madness, the collection type thing. It's a tournament mystery called Mansion of Horrors.
No. Never played it.
The one I
Okay.
remember playing the most was the haunted house one, Ghost House or whatever it was. And I think it was in the back of the rule book. So that's how,
Okay.
it was literally like, hey, you bought the rule book and here's a little 3-page adventure.
Yes.
Like, cool, but yeah, between all of my Mansions of Madness stuff and my Arkham Horror stuff, I could probably throw down a pretty good Call of Cthulhu game. But
What was that game that had such excellent miniatures? It was Mythos, Lovecraftian. Oh, I can't think of it
the
right
one
now.
Sandy Peterson made, where like it was like Risk, but with the mythos.
Yeah. What was that called?
Cthulhu Wars.
Cthulhu Wars. Thank you.
I didn't know
God,
he
the
made that one too, huh?
Yeah, each player in that game, it was a war game. You basically
Yeah.
controlled the cult of one of the great old ones and tried to conquer the world.
I knew that he made like a board game off of the Glorantha's Pantheon too, which was like God's War.
Yep, he did.
loved those miniatures. Just the sculpts were amazing.
Yeah, the ones that they put out for Call of Cthulhu are pretty nuts.
They're okay.
No, I'm talking about the ones from Mansions of Madness.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like the Raw Partha ones. I was like, man,
No.
Sathagwa looks like Golem. Like he looks like the
There's
Rankin Bass
the
Golem.
Chthonian from the Mansions of Madness. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. It's like a
And
purple worm sculpt.
well, the Chthonians are the worms with the tentacles sticking out of their face that cause earthquakes and shit like that. But
And Doles.
And then here is a statue of Cthulhu, just a statue, and
I've got that same model. Got the same
I
piece.
think it came in a big bag.
Yeah, I bought that bag and I used him as Star Spawn.
Yeah. But I'm trying to find something that's not 3D printed in here. And I'm not having a good look. See, this is my 3D printed Byakhee.
Nice.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then this is my Otherworld Games Manticore. Why it's in the Cthulhu box, I don't know. But yeah, I went through a thing and I printed out a bunch of Cthulhu monsters to go with the ones we already had. So like this bad boy right here.
Dark-Young?
That is Nyarlathotep, except in his full chaotic form.
Painted red like Shub.
Well, I mean, because when they call this form of Nyarlathotep the Red Tongue.
Okay.
And then I've got, of course, the one where he's a black-skinned, maybe Egyptian. Because sometimes he appears as a really black-skinned man of...
the Black Pharaoh.
Yeah, the Black Pharaoh.
Nephrin Ka.
If you're talking about Call of Cthulhu, Nyarlathotep is the most active, really. As far as being a malicious bastard, just wanting to F everyone over.
That's one of the classic secrets, I believe, to my recollection, was Nodens, the outer god, is not actually hunting Cthulhu, but is hunting Nyarlathotep.
Well, I mean, a little off topic, but I'll talk a little Cthulhu for a minute. Every god that has ever been worshipped on Earth actually exists in the Cthulhu mythos. The problem is a lot of them are not very powerful. So Nyarlathotep keeps a lot of them trapped in the Dreamlands in the lost city of Kadath, I think. And that's the whole dream quest of Kadath. He's trying to find that city where the ancient gods dance eternally and blah, blah, blah. Nodens, for some reason, I don't know why, of all of those ancient gods, Nodens an Irish god. He's all like F it. He's running around just effing shit up, doing whatever he wants, right? But like, what's his name? When he went to the Dreamlands, he saw Apollo. You know, I mean, he knows those gods exist, but for some reason they can't get out of the Dreamlands anymore. Except for Nodens. So yeah, it's pretty weird, you know, when you think about it, you know. But you know, whatever. It's cool. I always liked the Dream Quest cycle, and I always thought it would make a great kind of role playing setting.
I wish they had a dedicated campaign to it or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they touch on it a couple of times.
Well, I know that you're going to be super happy because I'm getting ready to make all your dreams come true.
No,
Yeah.
I could use that right about now.
Hyperborea is basically the Dreamlands.
Oh God.
Sorry, it just basically is. It's a chunk of the earth that got pulled away by arcane, you know, elder gods and thrown around Saturn. And
no, like, don't get me wrong. I like the game. I really do. The
all of the
subclasses
shit
are a
you
little
read-
overwhelming, just a touch. Do you remember the other day I messaged you because I was like leafing through the PDF,
right?
and I was like, so there's no dedicated skill system, and you were like, it's either roll under or the.
You have roll under an attribute unless you're trying to do something really crazy, and then it's like heroic attribute test, which is in percentile.
Yeah, but I understood why
And
now.
then
Like,
some classes have bonuses to their different attribute tests.
that game is all over the friggin' place. That game is a chaotic slap mess. And I understood why it was like why you like it now. Like, this game is intense, even in its rules, even its application.
Well, one of the ladies that plays the game at my table is an assassin, and literally she worships a god where, like, when possible, she goes into a secret temple in the sewers, and they sacrifice a human and they dance around in the blood. And that's the player character. What'd you say, my love? I can. You need a lot of help?
Not a lot, but a little, yeah.
That means a lot. Guys, I'm going to take off a little early today.
All right.
And
Yeah,
Hilbert,
good
she
one.
just came in.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Thank you guys for joining, though. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good to see you all.
Yeah, always a pleasure.